my name is Sarah. Welcome to the It is a Sarah podcast. Today it is Monday, October 28th, I think. I forgot to check. And 2024. And in this episode I want to share my handwerk perikelen. That's the Dutch word for my crafty adventures from this week with you. I'm coming from the Netherlands, so excuse my Dutchy English. I love to knit, I love to crochet, I love to sew, I love to talk. So that's the perfect combination for making this podcast. And I make my episodes in Dutch and in English, so be sure you pick the right one. Before we will start chatting about mainly knitting, I guess, I want to bring you with me on my daily Monday. No, not my daily Monday, on my daily walk. We are walking quite close to my house in a beautiful surrounding. I live in the city, but at the border of the city, so we have quite some nature on a walking distance. That's very nice, and we enjoyed some lovely autumn weather last week with very bright sun and actually quite high temperatures, but also the beautiful autumn colors. And I think we expect some rain this afternoon. I see already some grey clouds coming. Come. Bobby's not coming. Bobby is in the hormonal phase. He wants to make puppies. And I don't want her doing that. I don't want to have the puppies. So I keep her quite close to me because she is looking for handsome dogs. Join me walking and I will see you in a minute back at my knitting office. Today I'm wearing my Ariana sweater, and when I'm back in my knitting office I will share all the details about this sweater with you. But I'm also wearing a big shawl, and I definitely will not wear it when I'm in my knitting office. With these temperatures I prefer to not wear a jacket or a coat. I don't like jackets or coats. When I'm walking I got quite warm soon, so as less layers as possible. That sounds a bit weird. I do wear layers. But I prefer to just wear a cardigan or sweater with a big shawl. And I thought it was a little bit more chilly than it actually is, but it's still pretty nice to have my neck warm and well. And I am wearing a crochet one of my favorite shawls. I made it years and years ago. It is a design by myself, although it's more a recipe, not really a design. And it's a very big shawl, crocheted with a relief stitch. I'm always afraid someone will come around the corner. with a relief stitch, a very long shape, very wide, but with pointy edges. And this way I can wrap it around my neck several times and tie it together here with no big piece of fabric left, and it's really nice and soft. I did crochet it in a yarn from Wool Addicts. It was gifted to me because I worked for them. Wool Addicts is a little bit of a sister brand from Long Yarns, and I don't know actually which yarn it is. I think it's Wool Addicts Air. No, I'm not quite sure. But I will link the blog page down below in the show notes, and it is in Dutch. But maybe when you use Google Translate, you can understand it anyway, and it's very easy peasy, and you can see the shape, and it's really a nice shape to wear as a shawl. So yeah, here we are. back in my knitting office. We had a lovely hike this morning. Do you call it hike? In Dutch we say wandeling. Wandelen. Hiking sounds a little bit more aggressive. A little bit more active. Wandelen. Walking is much more slower. Today I am wearing my Ariana sweater. It's my own modification of the Ariana cardigan. That's a free pattern on Ravelry from Amy Christoffers. I made 3 Arianas. Let me show the other 2. This was my Ariana cardigan. It's actually more a summer cardigan because it's made of a cotton silk wool blend, and I really love the combination of knitting and crocheting. Crocheting the granny squares, I'm a big granny square lover. Crocheting the granny squares and knitting the ribbing was really nice. I never followed the pattern exactly. I just followed the template to build the shape. I did it my own way. I made a second one, I think in 2023. I wanted to make a sweater of it, so not a cardigan but a V-shaped neckline sweater, and I really loved this one. Making was really fun. I made a scrappy one in sock yarns, and all the colors combined with the black yarn as a main color really give this a good look. The only problem is it is a little bit too tight, especially under my arms. I can wear it, but it's not really comfortable. And some days the prettiness of what you wear can be more important than the comfort, but most days I really prefer comfortable clothes. I regret that it's a little bit on the small side, but on the other side, I enjoyed making it and I will wear it anyway. But I knew I wanted to make another one, my 3rd one, and I finished this sweater earlier this year, and I knew I had to make some bigger squares so the fit would be better. The cardigan, the original pattern, is actually quite oversized, and I really love a more fitted shape on my body, especially because I love to wear wide skirts and wide dresses, and when it's also oversized I'm looking a bit weird because I'm a small person. So I made the squares a little bit more wider, and now it's perfect. It's not too tight under my armpits. What I also did was I start at the top this time. That one I made bottom up, and at the point I could fit in it, it was already too late, and now I started, I don't know. I did a little bit of top-down crocheting, building the squares, and so I could fit if it was okay before I ended the sleeves and the body. And that was a very clever decision. So it was good. It worked out pretty good. What didn't work out pretty good was the neckline. The neckline was quite tight, and every time I wear this sweater, I was feeling uncomfortable because it was too tight right here. I love a wide neckline. And also I finished this sweater, I guess at the end of the winter or maybe the beginning of spring. And it was already too warm to wear a sweater in this yarn. I will tell more about the yarn in a minute. But the neckline was too tight, and last weekend I thought, okay, let's fix that neckline. And I had another garment, my Spencer Penelope. It's from a Dutch designer, which had the same problem, also a V-shaped neckline, bound off, too tight. So I unraveled the bind off, and it was quite a challenge, certainly with the black yarn, and also actually with this one, quite a challenge to find the stitches and to unravel the bind off, and then unravel 2 rounds, I guess, 2 or maybe 3, so the ribbing got a little bit smaller, and that was not really difficult to do. Both my garments are knitted in very rustic yarn. That's Elefos Lopi, this is Einband Lopi, and the good thing of rustic yarn is the stitches will not go anywhere. They will stay where they are because it's so rustic. So when you are frogging or unraveling a very soft slippery yarn, it's more challenging, but not with this one. And then I bound off again, and now it's perfect. It's white, it's not too tight, and I really feel comfortable in it right now. The yarn is very rustic, as I said. It's Lopi Einband. That's the light fingering weight little sister of Let Lopi. And that's the big brother, Elefos Lopi. There's a new quality, Fiala Lopi. I purchased it earlier this month, but I will show it later, I think in 2025, when I start working on it. That's a DK weight, but this is a light fingering weight, and I held it double for a DK weight size. And I made a fixed color combination, so a coordinated color combination, all the same. And the look of that is, compared with this one, the look of that is more balanced, and I really love the color. I really love the scrappy feeling, the scrappy look of this one. It feels very colorful. It doesn't feel colorful, it looks very colorful, and it makes me really happy. But this is more balanced and more steady, and I really love this color combination, but it's also way more boring to crochet. So that's why this is longer, a long time project. I really love to have such projects running for a longer time, because when I'm only working at such a project, I really get bored. So these kinds of projects are perfect for doing 1 square a day, or crocheting granny squares for me is really satisfying and really relaxing. So I can do it any time of the day, also in the nights when I'm very tired or when I'm busy chatting with other people. Crocheting granny squares for me always work out. So it's perfect to have such a project in my project bag and picking it up every now and then, yes, I say it correctly, I guess. And suddenly it is finished. So that was the case with this one too. But then it was too warm to wear a rustic Icelandic woolly jumper. So I didn't wear it a lot. And now it is my first time this season. So I can wear it. I did change my winter wardrobe, and I did film quite a bit. I will show you that in a minute. I'm also wearing, this is new, I have a woolly layer, a woolly first layer, a woolly tank top I bought last week. One of my favorite shops, little shop around the corner. It's a Dutch online shop with a little bit of yarn, but also the linen dresses and skirts and woolly clothes and all the lovely, beautiful things, all the necklaces and bracelets. The shop from Karen was celebrating the 15-year birthday. How do you say that? You know, the shop exists 15 years. He celebrated it with us with quite a big discount. So I shopped. I didn't need anything, but I bought a new dress and also this lovely woolly underlayer. So I'm very happy. I'm also wearing my Estuary skirt, and I concluded that I need to shorten it a little bit. For me, it's always fascinating that only a little detail, a small detail on your garments can make such a big difference. A neckline which is too tight, a skirt which is 1 centimeter too long it can make or break it. And it's really fascinating to look at your clothes, what you have in your wardrobe, what you actually like, but don't love to wear. Because why don't you love to wear it, and can you fix it? So what I noticed when I was wearing this skirt, it is a little bit on the long side, and I'm a small person, so it's not looking very good, and I can wear it perfectly with only tights. But when I'm wearing my favorite leg warmers and slouchy socks, it's looking very weird. So I will make it a little bit shorter. I bought a linen dress, the same story, too long, not looking good on me. But when I shortened it for a few centimeters, it's perfect. I love the sweater. I didn't like to wear it, but just fix the neckline and it's perfect again. It's so interesting to check your wardrobe on those not so hard jumping garments which you want to keep, because you know there is something in it which could make your heart jump, but they just need a little modification, a little extra attention, and then they will be perfect. So that's really interesting. I did it with the sweaters. I will do it with the skirt. And it's making me very happy that I can see what I need and that I can make it the way I want it to be. And that feels really powerful. So I enjoy that process. I did film quite a bit last week. I did film quite a bit last week. So let me bring you with me to that part, and I will see you in a minute. Hello! It is Monday morning and it's actually autumn break, so I won't film an episode today. But I am busy doing things that I actually wanted to save for the podcast. I am changing my wardrobe from summer into winter, and that was actually something I wanted to save for the podcast, but I realized that it won't happen before the end of November, making a clean video of it, so I decided to do it right now. And then when I was busy doing it, I regret that I didn't film it, and then I started filming. But it is very early Monday morning. It is grey and rainy outside, so the light is terrible. As you can see, there are quite some beautiful items there. I don't have to knit anything for winter 2024-2025. I'm already done. That's a relaxing and helping thought. So I can't wait to wear all those beautiful pieces. Hello, it is Wednesday morning, October 23, only 1 month until the Knit to Purl to festival will happen. I hope it will be just as beautiful weather as it is today, bright and sunny. Today we have a lovely trip scheduled. It is autumn break and we will drive to Leuven in Belgium. We will visit our son. The girls haven't seen their brother's new home yet and it's a lovely city to visit, so we will do that. And for me, it's the perfect opportunity to finally get my Knit to Purl to Make Along knitting project back on track. I am knitting my coffee bean cardigan. My arm is hurting. I'm sorry. I'm knitting my coffee bean cardigan and I only have to finish the second sleeve and it is waiting for weeks right now. I have not so much knitting time at the moment, only in the evenings, and then I'm tired and I don't feel the motivation to pick up stitches, and I don't even mind picking up stitches. It's just growing as a big thing in my head. So today I will only bring my cardigan with me in the car. So that will force me to do the what is needed, picking up stitches, and I will get back on track with it and I will enjoy it, I'm quite sure. coffee bean current cardigan is finished. It's laying right in front of me. It's almost dry. I won't show it today. I am very curious how the fit will be, but I have a lot of other stuff to talk about. So I will save it for next week. And yeah, as I said, I'm very curious how it will fit, because then I can decide if I need a dress under it or a skirt. I want to make a complete outfit for the Knit to Purl to festival, and I am not feeling, it was my plan to make a dress, but I am doubting maybe this cardigan needs a skirt, and I don't know, so it depends on the fit. I blocked it quite aggressively because the coffee bean stitch is a variation of the Knit to Purl to stitch. And that's a rib stitch and it can stretch out a bit. So especially the body I blocked. The sleeves I didn't block, I didn't pin down because with my arms in it, it will stretch out anyway. But the body, I blocked it quite wide. So I am very curious how the effect will be. But I will update you next week. Because today I have a lot of other things to share with you. Let me start with, I have a finished object. I finished my friendship socks, my BFF socks. I knitted together with my friend, although I didn't weave in the ends and there are still some stitch markers left. I also did not block them. I don't think I will do. They definitely won't fit on my sock blocker, but I will give them a proper moment in one of my episodes. I want to film a little bit together with my friend's socks on our feet, and yeah, that will come later, but I don't know when. But they are finished. I also finished a little pair of baby socks. One of my knitting friends gave birth to a lovely baby boy, and on the day he was born, I casted on. I don't have them with me, so I'm showing you this lovely tiny sock blocker, but I casted on that little pair of socks just with some scrappy leftover, a plain green yarn. I really loved it, and the pattern I used was, it's a Dutch pattern, I guess. I don't know if it's also available in English. It has an English name. It are the little Cherub socks by Sylvia from Wool Verve. She's a dyer. And she created those lovely socks, and the pattern, I received the pattern when I bought this little tiny sock blocker. It's also from Sylvia, and it was a collaboration with Modern Makers. Those are two lovely Dutch ladies, and they make those tiny sock blockers. And knitting baby socks is such a hard jumping thing to do. They are so cute and so tiny, and I regret that I couldn't knit when my own children were babies, but I will knit all the babies in my life tiny socks, because it's just so lovely. When I finished those baby socks, I also casted on a pair of hysterically purple and pink socks for my little niece, and as you can see, there is no needle in. Knitting socks for my little niece. She is 3.5 years old right now, but knitting socks for her is on my list forever. I have a lot of on my list, on my knitting list, and also on my niece, knitting for my niece list. But there is not much time to knit at the moment. But I suddenly really felt the need to knit her a pair of socks. And I wanted to make, those are tiny little girl socks. And I had a lot of other things going on my needles. But sometimes you just need a specific project, and I need hysterical colors and a small project. And I used the pattern, but I don't know the name anymore. And it was actually with a whole ribbed leg. I didn't do that, and I regret, because the needle is not out of it with no reason. When I tried to fit on the socks on my niece's foot, she didn't want to fit in. She didn't want those socks. It was a busy birthday party at our home, and my sister and I, we tried to do a quick fit, but they were actually on the small side, and that was my fault, because when I saw the amount of stitches I had to cast on for her size, I thought that's way too much. So I did 4 stitches less, and I thought it's looking so big, but it was actually not big at all. So now I know why the ribbed leg is a good idea for toddler socks. So I'm not quite sure if I want to finish these socks. I don't know. Maybe I just want to cast on a new pair with ribbed legs in one size bigger. This was just a comfort knit for a few days, and it was really hard jumping to knit on it. And when I have to frog it, it's not a problem because I needed that time, and my niece didn't need those socks in her life. And I will knit her socks anyway because my sister says she wants them, she will wear them, but it's just a toddler, and I don't know the word in English. It's not sturbiness, is that the word? In Dutch we call it eigenwijs. I don't know the word in English, but there's a word for it. They do what they want and not what you want. When you are 3, that's what you're supposed to do, I guess. So I will put them in my basket, and I can pick up the reason my needle is out of it. I need it for another sock project. I will tell you more about that soon, in a minute. But I can pick up the stitches quite easily and finish the sock, but I don't know if I want to do that. So I will put it in my sock basket and we see what will happen with this sock. Another project I am working on, and I had a really lovely tiny thing added to, is my anchor shawl. I told about it in my previous episode. I was knitting it in a specific yarn and it was not hard jumping, so I decided to start over again in this lovely merino linen yarn, which I received from a lovely Dutch viewer. It was very generous of him. And I bought some tiny stitch markers. In the middle column you are knitting in a triangle shape and you do increases. Make one left, make one right. And I always forget, now not always, when I'm just knitting at a project I know what to do. But when I have a project, and this is one of those projects, which I only grab every now and then. My northeasterly blanket is also such a project. It has the same slip stitch in the middle. I always forget, what do I have to do first? Make one light, make one left, or make one right? I always forget. And there is a Dutch stitch marker maker, and she has this lovely idea with make one right and make one left stitch markers. So now I know what to do. Yeah. When I don't work on this for quite a while, I don't have to check the pattern. I just see, okay, first I have to do make one left and then make one right. So that's really lovely. Yeah, as I said, I only pick it up every now and then. I really want this shawl to be finished because I really love the design. It's from a Dutch designer, but it's an English pattern, the anchor shawl. And it's actually a DK weight pattern, but I am knitting it in fingering weight, and I can't wait to have a big, soft, tiny shawl I can wrap around myself in this color and in this yarn. But I don't need a shawl. I have enough shawls, so I can work on it in the car every now and then in the evenings when I'm tired. So that's really nice, and I love to have some of those projects on my needles. A little bit more challenging project is my sock. There was something happening. I told about my Colorwork Cuff Club socks in my previous episode. And when I started reading the comments the next day, there were several people telling me, Sarah, I don't know if you want to hear this, but I think you have made a mistake. And I thought, huh? And it was so obvious. My first sock, I can't show it anymore because it's not existing anymore. But my first sock, I made a big mistake. I forgot one of the petals. My flower only had 2 petals instead of 4. And what was so weird was I did look to the charts and the color work all the time. I told about it in the episode. I was editing the episode, but also in real life. I checked the difference between the color work, because for this colorwork leg, this colorwork cuff, I did knit the colorwork inside out. That was a suggestion of a few viewers of the podcast. And when you knit your colorwork inside out, there is a little bit more stretch because the floats go outside. And it's just, you can just knit your colorwork as you always do. You can just knit. There's nothing, you just turn your work inside out and knit. And you don't have to purl, you only have to knit, but because the floats are around the outer circle of your work instead of the inner circle, there's a little bit of extra stretch, and you can really use that when you are putting your sock over your, especially over the part, your ankle and your heel. So it really worked out pretty good, but I absolutely didn't see my mistake. The first colorwork chart, I just missed the petals. I was chatting and drinking coffee with my mom and I made more mistakes, but I just didn't notice. And it was so weird. When you are looking quite focused on a specific thing, you can miss all other obvious things. And I really love to take those knitting insights with me to the rest of my life. And I was wondering, what am I not seeing in the rest of my life? Which things are really obvious, but am I not seeing because I'm too focused on a specific thing? I don't know. I didn't find anything, but it is a nice thought, and also maybe a bit frightening that there are happening so many things and you are only seeing a small part of it. Yeah, that's really interesting. But I did my sock operation. Of course, let me pick this one again. This sock is knitted cuff down. So I started at the cuff and I finished at the toe. And there was no way I would frock the whole sock. So I thought I can do several things. There were several solutions to create the same socks. I was absolutely sure I wanted to fix the problem. I didn't want to have two different socks. I wanted them the same. And I really loved this flower. One of the options was I cut off the sock and knit the cuff bottom up. So knit from toe to cuff. So the stitches would be reversed, but that would be only a small difference and hardly noticeable on the sock. So that was one option. Another option was duplicate stitch the petals on the sock, but I didn't want to do that. And I chose I think the most complicated solution, the most challenging solution for me. I cut out the chart. I cut out one strand of yarn and unraveled the stitches and put them on my needle. So this is the cuff. And I did the same with the foot. I counted how many rounds I had to have left for the same length as the second sock. And now the only thing, the easy solution is of course just knit that way. But I don't do the easy solution. I will knit the color work on this one. And when it's finished, I will Kitchener it all together. And yeah, I think that's a good and nice and satisfying thing to do. And it was not very easy to get those parts back on my needles. I filmed it for you, so you can watch it in a few seconds. But it was, I can't really explain. Doing such challenging knitty things is also really satisfying. I love it to not always go for the easiest solution. Sometimes I really want to bite my teeth in something. That's a Dutch, je tanden ergens inzetten. That's a Dutch way of saying things. I don't know if it makes sense in English too. But it's really, it asks some concentration and some focus. And at some point it was really a mess with all the yarns and all the tights and all the But then organizing that chaos really is hard jumping for me to do. Yeah, so I don't know if you recognize it. Sometimes it's just fun to go for the hard way. Yeah, if it's about your knitting. So I will knit the cuff and I hope I will finish it this week. The fun part will happen now. It was not only fun to do this, it was quite challenging and complicated, but the cuff is back in 2 little tiny yarn balls. And I think I can make the colorwork chart and then I can make it together and my pair of socks will be done. And it's almost November, so there will be a new chart. When it's November? Friday, I guess. There will be a new chart this Friday. So I'm looking forward to that too. I don't know if I will make them. The October charts of the Colorwork Cuff Club, I didn't feel the need to make them. The September chart I love to make, but not now. I don't know. We shall see. We shall see. It's just, I'm just having fun.
a smile upon your face, and I see something shimmering in your eyes. And they say if you want to glimpse the future, you need space. And you said you'll put down your morning guns. Would you follow me to wonders? Take my hand and walk beside me in a world of thunder. Fear is an imposter. When you look at me this way, I find it hard to not give in. So the days became weeks, it felt just like the night before. You were slowly fading in my mind. When you left, I was so completely gone, but now I'm sure you were some of the best of things to find.
Just before the autumn break, my youngest girl turned 15 years old and she ordered a new sweater. She is knitting her own sweater, so that's very nice and very fun. And she is at the ribbing of the body. I will show it. I don't know if I showed it in this podcast episode, but she's knitting the Kerr sweater, but then in a stripy version. So I'm really proud. I'm really happy that one of my girls is knitting and she is having fun. So she's knitting her own sweater, but she also wanted me to knit her the Bubblelicious sweater of Kika. And I must confess, I'm not a very Bubblelicious person. I don't know if I really like to knit the bubbles, but she really loved the bubbles and I love her. So that's how it works. Then you do that. Although I do that. I don't know if I will regret it at the end, but we will do it. But she chose a color combination. We are knitting I will knit with Knitting for Olive, fingering weight merino, 2 strands, so held double, together with 1 strand of mohair. And my daughter picked those colors. It is the bottle green, the merino, and the dusty sea grass silk mohair, all from Knitting for Olive. My local yarn shop sells it now, so that's very nice and I'm very happy. But I must confess, when I was swatching, I was not so happy. I was swatching on her birthday. It was my plan to cast on the sweater on her birthday, but that didn't happen because my swatch was turned not out the way I wanted to. The color combination of the silk mohair and the merino didn't work out with this pattern. As you can see, I think it is way too marled. And I think that marled effect can be very nice when you have a plain stockinette sweater. It was a suggestion on the Knitting for Olive website to combine those 2 colors. But it's not working out in a very busy structured pattern. There's happening a lot in this pattern. Cables, bubbles, other stitches. But it's absolutely not visible with also the marled effect. I did swatch on 5mm needles. That was the recommended needle size. And I always go down a needle size, but I'm not very mohair-y. So I don't have a lot of mohair experience. So I didn't know what the mohair would do with my stitch definition. So I thought, okay, let's try the recommended needle size. Way too loose, but not a problem. I could see the color was not the color I wanted. And lucky me, my daughter regret. I want to see that she didn't regret. Regret? Nee, regret is feeling sorry for. She felt the same about the colorway. I also swatched with only the merino held double, so 1 color, bottle green, and I made a mistake in the cabling, but yeah, it's looking better, the colorway and also the structure. I went down 1 needle size, so I did swatch with 4mm needles, and this is the right stitch definition. But my girl, she really wanted the fuzziness of the mohair, so I could change my mohair with for new balls, and now I will swatch again in all bottle green mohair and merino yarn, and I think I will try it again with 4mm needles. I see how it will work out. I think I love the tighter stitch definition more than when it's a little bit looser, but it won't happen soon because I don't think it's a really complicated pattern, but there's happening a lot in this pattern, and especially in the beginning it needs some attention and some focus and some concentration. And because I'm organizing a knitting festival, I don't have a lot of knitting time during the day, or I don't have knitting time during the day, only in the evenings, and I'm absolutely not an evening person. My fresh and bright energy is in the early morning, and in the evening I can still knit or crochet, but it works out much better for me to do simple, easy, plain knitting or crocheting, and definitely not something which asks for a lot more attention. So I think I will keep it. I won't finish it anyway before the festival. She hoped that I would do it, but I won't make that anyway. So I thought it would be nice to cast on after the festival at the end of November, because then I have a lot of knitting time during the day. So it will be my December project, and it's looking like Christmas green. So I think it will fit the time of the year perfectly. And I am looking forward. I really am looking forward to the festival, but I'm also really looking forward to the quietness and peaceness and empty days after the festival, before Christmas, the dark days. Cuddling into my house, cleaning my house is also nice. That I would do that again then, because I'm ignoring my housekeeping a little bit at the moment. It's okay. It's for a good goal, but I really am looking forward to that time of the year too. So it will be on hold, this project, but I will keep you updated. Oh yeah. Our youngest girl was making over her bedroom, and she was cleaning and organizing, and she got a new bed and new paint on the wall, and she worked hard with my husband, but she was also decluttering, and she found those tiny little knitted dolls. I forgot their existence, but they are so cute. It was actually quite fun, because I told her, oh, I forgot I made them for you. And she said, you didn't make them. I knitted them myself. And I thought, no. I knitted them, and we couldn't agree. I am absolutely sure I made them up. I finished them. But this is actually the perfect easy peasy project to knit together with children or for yourself, because these little dolls are making from just a straight piece of fabric. You just cast on a certain amount of stitch and you knit a few rows. You knit back and forth, a little swatch, you knit a few rows for the feet, and then for the trousers and the sweater, and then for the head, and you seam it together at the back side. You could knit it in a round too. That could also be possible. Then you don't have a seam, and then you, with some seams, you create the shaping of the legs and the arms and the face, and you add some hair and some small little details, and you have those cutie tiny dolls. It is very, very easy, and I thought it might be nice to make. It's the perfect knitting for the kids, together with the kids. I did it as a teacher at the Waldorf school, but it's also very nice for a little small gift, knitting away your scraps. You can also crochet them. I made my gnomes a little bit the same way, also a straight piece of fabric sewed together. But I thought it might be nice to make a video. It will be 2025. I have absolutely no time for that now, to make a little video to make those tiny dolls, because they are hard jumping. They are so easy, and they are hard jumping. Perfectly beginner friendly knitting project, and perfect little gift for small children, or knit yourself. Yeah, or maybe I can make a knit yourself knit along next year. That would be fun. Yeah, we can do that in February, the boring month. That's an idea. I will keep that in mind. Okay, then I told all about the knitting. I bought I bought a new sock yarn together with my dress and with all the nice things at my friend's little shop around the corner. I bought this lovely yarn. It's sock yarn from Scheepjes. It's always quite hard to pronounce for English speaking people, but it's a Dutch brand and we say Scheepjes. The g is quite hard. It's Arcadia. I don't know this sock yarn, but I really love the color combination. It's quite autumnally. The pink and the warm orange and brown and warm yellow and a little bit of green. I don't know if I will cast on socks with this yarn quite soon, but I just loved it. Yeah, it's always nice to have enough sock yarn in your stash, and I really have a lot of sock yarn in my stash. And I ordered 2 advent calendars. They will come to my home in November somewhere, but oh, it's really a lot. But it's making me very happy. We can knit a lot next year. It is almost November and it's less than 4 weeks and then the Knit to Purl to Festival will happen. I am organizing a yarn event in my hometown and it is quite exciting. It is a vision, do you say it like that? It is a vision that came up to my mind for several years now. I see myself organizing something at a specific place in my hometown. It's actually a skate park. And it doesn't make sense to organize a knitting event at a skate park, but it is run by my brother and it's really a lovely place in my hometown. A lot of cultural things are happening there, but it's also a bit of a rough place, a rough atmosphere, rough aesthetics, and the combination with that roughness and the softness of knitting and crochet I really love that. And also I am not an event organizer and I also don't want to be an event organizer. So I really need the help from my brother because he can organize very good events, and we decided just let it happen. All those years I had that idea. I thought, no, I don't want it. I just want to knit. But this year we decided, okay, let's just try to do it. And it's really exciting to follow your heart because a lot of things are out of my comfort zone, but I am really happy I did it, and it's working pretty hard at the moment, but it's absolutely worth it. And my idea is to create an event which is the main goal is connecting. Knitting and crocheting, you do it mostly alone in your living room, most of the time, and sometimes you visit an event or you have some knitting friends or you don't have them, but there is quite an online knitting community, knitting and crochet community. We get a lot of inspiration online, social media, Instagram, YouTube. We use Ravelry, and it's very nice. We have nice contacts, maybe we are sharing ourselves, maybe not, but there's happening a lot online. And for one day I want to invite all the people out of their living rooms, bring them together in a big living room. We create a big living room at the skate park, and we organize some nice activities. We have some lovely guests. I invited some of my favorite podcasters, Lerke from Fiber Tales, Jana from the Finnish Knitting Stories, Inga from Knitting Traditions. They will all come. I will interview them, and that's very exciting because of course I have to do it in English. But it will work out pretty good. We have some other lovely speakers, and there are all lovely activities you can do, inspiring activities. We have quite some vendors who are selling the most beautiful products. Of course, a lot of woolly yarns, but also other products. And the main thing is we create a very cozy place to connect, and you can enjoy it all day. There are good drinks and foods, and you can be there all day and have a good time, and you can knit all day and watch all the people all the guests with all the beautiful garments and projects and all the lovely people, bringing them together in real life. That's for me a dream which comes true, I hope, at November 23. All the tickets are sold out, and that's really exciting for me because we had the tickets were quite pricey, because organizing a festival this way is quite pricey. There's no way I will earn money with this, and that's absolutely also not necessary, because I just want the heart jumping feeling of all the people together. So I'm really happy that that people are coming, and there are a lot of Dutch people, but also a lot of other people from other countries. So if you are visiting Knit to Purl To, I'm so happy. And I had an idea inspired by some other crafters. They told me they were making stitch markers or tiny skeins of yarn, mini skeins, to share with other people. And it's a little bit based on the bracelets from Taylor Swift. I don't know anything about Taylor Swift, but my girls visited the concert in Amsterdam this summer, and they had bracelets too. And then I read the story that the fans of Taylor Swift, the Swifties, they exchange, I guess you say it like that, the bracelets to connect. And I really love that idea, and I thought I want to do that too. So I made my own bracelet, my Knit to Purl To bracelet. And now I am making bracelets for all the people who are visiting Knit to Purl To, because I'm so grateful all those people did buy a ticket and want to visit my event. I want to thank you in person. So I will put all the bracelets in a big basket, and I will find you on November 23 to give you a handmade bracelet. And it absolutely makes no sense to make hundreds and hundreds of bracelets. It's very time consuming, and it does eat up a lot of my knitting time, but it is such a hard jumping thing for me to do. It is making the bracelets. I never made bracelets before. I never did it. I never wanted to do that. I love it when people do that, but I'm not one of them. But it's really relaxing, and it's really structured. It's really a structured activity. And I noticed that doing structured activities really calm down my nerves. Every now and then it's also very stressful to organize such a thing. But it really calms down my nerves. It's also making to-do lists, or I don't know. We have, I don't know, a drawer. Do you call it a drawer? You have in the kitchen, you have those things you can pull out. A drawer, I guess that's the name. And you have your knives and forks and spoons in. I really love to organize my fork and knife. In Dutch we call it bestek. I really love to organize that drawer too. That's also really calming. But also making to-do list is calming the gales in your head. And making bracelets is also calming my nerves. So that's really a satisfying, heart-jumping thing to do. And the second thing is that I feel connected with every person who I will give a bracelet on November 23rd. It's, for me, I always wear a lot of bracelets. Sometimes because I just love the look of them. But most of them also have a specific meaning for me. Sometimes they remind me of a special day, and sometimes they remind me of a special person, of a special intention. So when I see my bracelets and I think of that, they work as reminders. And I really love to have a Knit to Purl To bracelet too, because it reminds me of the very exciting thing of following your heart, doing things way far out of your comfort zone in real life. Not only I'm a very big and good dreamer. I can dream a lot, but most of the time I'm too afraid to do them in real life. And Knit to Purl To is really bringing a dream alive. And that's way far out of my comfort zone, I can promise you that. But it's so much fun and so nice, and the bracelet reminds me of that. But after the event, the bracelet reminds me of all the lovely people, the connection. I think as people, we really need connection in our lives, and online connection is very nice and very heart jumping. But real life connection is even better, I guess. And I don't have to have such an event every week, but every now and then meeting people. I prefer knitting in my own, alone. I don't really love doing it together with other people. But every now and then meeting people with the same love, with the same passion is really heart jumping. So yeah, I'm making all those bracelets and I will give them in person to all the people who will visit my event to thank them for being there. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Okay, so that was it for today. I still have some knitting time. It was very, very busy. It will be very busy, but I try to create a little bit of knitting time in the evenings. And that's absolutely important because knitting and crochet time, I'm only knitting at the moment, I guess. It's absolutely my heart jumping moments, and we need heart jumping moments in our lives. So if you can't find your heart jumping moments, create them because we need them. Thank you for watching. I will be there with a new episode next Monday, and I will be there with the Heart Jumping Friday episode this Friday. It's the membership part of my YouTube channel. You can become a member. You pay a small amount of money every month. And I will answer all your questions and show you a little bit behind the scenes. Thank you for watching. I wish you a very nice week and bye.